Did Belvedere a little bit earlier, District 3. We're back now with the acre. I hope you're enjoying the debates. I am. I don't have to prep. I'd like to, we're not going to take phone calls, but we do have 978-454-4980, the text line. If you want to text in, I won't be reading them during the debate. If we have time after, maybe I will, but we're definitely not taking phone calls. This is about the candidates tonight and earlier tonight. So, with that said, the rules are we're going to start with left to right. We're going to go to Sidney Liang and Jose Cervantes. There we go, Jose Cervantes and Paul Ratha Yem. The second question, Jose, you'll start, and then the third question, Paul. We're going to rotate the questions as we go along. You get a minute for the opening statement. For the answers to your question, there's 2 minutes, and for the final statement or your closing remarks will be 2 minutes. We've been ahead of schedule, so I really don't hold it to 2 minutes. Some are going a little bit over. That's really good. If I can do that, we do. And with that said, we're going to start with Sidney Liang with his opening remarks. 1 minute. Sidney.
Thank you. Good evening. Thank you, Marty. Thank you, WCAP, Marta, Jose. I also want to give a shout out to our incredible team. Hopefully they're listening, Team Sidney. And also to my Cambodian families and friends. I want you to know that I stand by all of you during this Khmer-Thai conflict. I truly understand the feelings of being hunted, displaced, as well as the struggle faced in the refugee camp. I hope it's for lasting peace, for everyone to get involved. We're no longer used as a pawn for any conflict. My name is Sidney Liang. I'm a former Cambodian refugee. Like many other Khmer people, fled the Khmer Rouge regime and found a new home in Bronx, New York. I experienced what it is like to go without enough food, money, and support, and I want to be your counselor as we navigate our challenges together. I'm here to be your extended voice, your arms, your legs, and to share your challenges. I aim to use my experience to represent and advocate for the people of District 7 and the entire city of Lowell. We must embrace the American values such as equality, liberty, democracy, freedom of speech, and the pursuit of American dream. We must reflect on the current condition. Are these values accessible in the acre and Cambodia town? Do individuals have to leave districts to seek employment, education, or safety? Are the children safe to walk to school and play in the environment? Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Sidney. Jose Cervantes.
How's everybody doing? My name's Jose Cervantes, candidate for District 7. I wanted to also echo what Sidney said about, with the conflict going on in Cambodia and Thailand. It is great to hear that there's a ceasefire for the moment. Let's hope that holds, and on top of that, offer condolences to the people that lost their lives and the people that are suffering because of this tragedy. As you guys know, losing your life is not the only way you suffer from a conflict like this, and moment of silence for the people we just lost in Manhattan. We'll have plenty of time to talk about ourselves and the district and all that, so I'll keep it short. Let's have some fun. Over to you, Paul.
Jose's great at rock and roll. Paul Ratha Yem.
Thank you again. I just want to thank my friend here, Sidney, Jose, who threw the axe in the ring. And I want to thank WCAP for hosting the debate, and especially our host, Marty Lorrey. Thank you so much. Good evening. My name is Paul Ratha Yem, and I'm honored to serve as your Vice Mayor and the City Councilor for District 7. Over the past 4 years, I've worked tirelessly making the Acre neighborhood and all of the city of Lowell a better place for families and small businesses and future generations. My campaign is built on the value of the word acre, A-C-R-E, a vision that reflects both our neighborhood's history and our shared future. For affordable housing and infrastructure, I champion the housing development like Acre Crossing, 733 Broadway Street to bring life, bring safe, affordable home and the neighborhood And I really ask that you will continue to support this effort to build more affordable housing, safe quality of life, and respect honor our veterans and elders, and particularly also economic development in the city and District 7. Thank you.
Okay. Jose, we're gonna start with you.
Yes, sir.
Sidney Liang had the first one, you get the first question. Massachusetts is looking into pot cafes. Should Lowell consider the option if it becomes available? You got 2 minutes for the answer if you want.
I mean, that's definitely a sticky one, with a lot of people. But, at the same token, right now we have a cat cafe here. I know it's different, but, some people will say, well, what about you don't smoke? There's a lot of people that are allergic to cats, We're looking to get more revenue into the city. I mean, we'd have to really, work with the health department and other commissions in the city to see, because at the same time, how are we going to regulate that? We have bars, but we also try to enforce that in all the negative aspects that come with it. Everything just can't be a money grab. I mean, it's something that I would definitely consider taking a deeper dive into because, again, it's tax revenue. We're going to bring in a whole different demographic into a downtown that, but an issue is revitalizing it. So, no, I'd definitely be signed that with the proper paperwork put in front of me, I can be for it.
Great. Paul Ratha Yem.
Repeat the question.
Massachusetts is looking into pot cafes. Should Lowell consider the option if it becomes available?
It's a great question. The pot cafe is not any different from what we have pot shop right now in the city. This is another way for people to go and then hang out and be able to use that. So it's it's not that different, and there is a regulation already in place to regulating pot, just like Jose talked about, liquors and bars and restaurants and things like that. So it is a good way. As counselor, I would consult with our solicitor and to see which way is the best way to approach this. Thank you.
Thanks, Paul. Sidney Liang.
I guess it depends on where you're going to put it. It's pot cafe to me. I mean, it's already out there in a way, but at the same time, some of these things need to be really regulated and taking a look at the healthcare related issues, as well as recreational issues that comes with it. Of course, it could be generating more money for the city, but what are some of the pros and the cons of having this kind of shop in the city? So I think one thing that I would do if it comes up and the word acre District 7 should be one of the place, I would have to talk to the resident and the community because I'm here for the people and we should be consulting with them in terms of what to do because our children will be affected by all of this as well. So we'll need to consult with the people that's living near the resident. That's why I said it is depending on the location of the shops.
Okay, thanks, Sidney. Paul, you get the next question. Paul Ratha Yem.
Yes, sir.
What's the most common complaint you hear when you're engaging voters, and what do you tell them?
The most complaint that I heard from my constituents are the housing is too expensive. I cannot afford to live here any longer. And also the complaint about quality of life. And there's some issue with pothole. But as you know, that I've been serving as councilor, the vice mayor for the past 4 years, and things have improved. If you look at Broadway Street from School Street all the way to West, almost to Pawtucket Street, UMass Lowell, and look at the Middlesex Street also had been under development. And right now the Merrimack corridor will be paved after the Suffolk Place is done. The city received additional $1 million from HUD. Previously, 1.72 million to upgrade this Merrimack Street all from the City Hall all the way to University Crossing. And I would like to see the Merrimack Street corridor as a premier, like the Newberry ports of Lowell, because thousands of families bring their children to register at the UMass Lowell every year. So I want to showcase the city and have a walkability from the UMass Crossing all the way down to the city, to City Hall, and then all the businesses in the acre.
Sidney Liang.
Yes, sir. Most of the time, I do go out and talk to a lot of people because I live there in the acre for over 30 years. I know the community. Most of the conversation we had, especially during the winter time, is just snow removal, services from the city, language issues with more language, bilingual languages, website being more friendly a little bit, as well as homelessness right now, and also the panhandling, especially around Broadway and School Street, especially next to the school, as well. Some of the safety concern that we are having in the city. Pothole issues, I do agree. There's a lot of pothole that's going on. If you have the city, you have the City Hall, you have UMass Lowell, you have all the different good monument in there, but potholes and roadways really need to be fixed. Maybe we can partner up with UMass Lowell in the city and make some kind of contract to make sure the acre gets some benefit in, improving the services for the residents.
Thanks, Sidney. Jose.
All right. Well, aside from all that, they all bring up good points, but I'll be honest with you. I've said it on your show before, I live right in back of the Greek Bakery. So I live in the acre, I live in the thick of it all. And one of the biggest things that I hear from people is representation. When you look at the voter turnout, they don't, I'm asking them, why aren't you voting? For what? For what? Who's representing us? Who am I voting for? They literally feel like they don't have a voice. They don't feel, I don't know if it's because they're so out of touch with the community. I mean, you heard all the amazing things that are happening in the acre that Paul just brought up. Maybe they don't see that. Maybe that's not affecting their part of the acre. When you don't have a reason to be involved in your local politics, when you don't feel like you have that voice, and this isn't me trying to take a jab at Paul, this is just what I hear. Why am I going to vote? Maybe that's why 535 people only came out to vote in the acre. So, representation, that's the biggest thing right now that I'm hearing.
Okay, Jose. Hold on a second. I just want to. There's something I wanted to ask with Jim out there for a second. What did I want to go to next?
I did mention his name if Paul wanted to
What's
rebut.
that?
I did mention his name if Councilor Paul wanted to rebut.
Go ahead. Go ahead. You get a minute. If you want it to rebut.
Well, Jose called me as a resident at the time before he threw the hat in the ring, and he was telling me that the road that where he is, it was not plowed. It's snow. His daughter is in a crutch, and so I called the city manager assistant right away, and then I was told this is on Tuesday on the way to the council meeting, and afterward. After the council meeting, I went by it again, and it was not clean enough. So I called the city back again to go back again and salt it. So Jose texted me and said, "Thank you for doing that."
Okay. It's
But we'll talk about that. I'll address that at another time. Go ahead.
Oh, okay.
Because the call was made on Monday morning, and you're right, I did get a call on Tuesday, but I called Monday morning. Go ahead.
Okay.
I think it was last April or May. I called the city manager around, 11 o'clock in the morning, and I said to him, I haven't seen downtown this quiet in years. The elderly are back out walking. I feel safe anywhere in the city. Public safety involves me. I go in the egg everywhere. But downtown, the kids weren't up and down the sidewalk on the bicycles and skateboards. I see the elderly back out, which I haven't seen in years. And so I called the city manager to compliment him and the chief of police and the police department. As a city councilor, what would you do to help or support the manager and the police chief in these endeavors to keep downtown in that type of mode? Can we start with you this time?
Those two,
Wait.
he went first.
Okay, Sidney, what would you do with the city manager and police chief? It's absolutely incredible downtown, the difference now as it was a couple of years ago.
Well, I mean, I was here, when we have a lot of signs on the sidewalk, and we also started to have, more communication with the city and with the DPD, as well as LPD. As a counselor, it's really important to have a sort of good working relationship with all the city government official, city managers. I'd like to, again, to introduce more of an education type and promoting downtown. If you wanted to include more people outside, using LTC, using WCAP, using our local media, so that to draw people in. What are some of the issues that involve within the downtown area? What are some of the things that need to be seen? Sometimes people are coming here almost just like a cross kind of thing. It's not a destination where they can come in and sit, especially little kid, where they go into high school and then they go back home and they just use downtown as a passage. And I want to learn more. I bet the city manager has some more activities and programs that can introduce that, and maybe more community policing, that walking the beat downtown some more, especially during the summertime. I haven't seen a lot of that lately, and I'd like to see some more of building relationship between the police and also within the community, and get them out of the car some more and let them walk the community. Now, I need to learn more about safety issues in terms of how they're protecting themselves, but I'd like to see more community policing downtown and other places.
Thanks, Sidney. Jose, this change that I've noticed downtown, safer, more people walking, more elderly, less congestion on the sidewalk. As a city councilor, how would you work with the manager to continue this trend?
No, absolutely. I mean, it's every time you see me, I'm walking, especially down here, walking downtown. And no, it's great to see, but I think that when we start giving people a sense of pride in community, we don't have to really push the envelope of, I'm heavily involved, as you know, with the litter crew. I've mentioned that every time I get a chance because they're amazing. There's areas of the town that we go to, the city that we go to, and it's like, we know we better bring extra trash bags, like Lanaho calls it the black belt. But when you start giving people something to be proud of, and we've done that with so many new businesses coming in, and like Sidney, I like what Sidney said, where we have more police presence, not just there when they're there with their lights lit up, and they're actually in the community. That's a huge deal, because there's nothing better than walking down here on a Saturday morning at 9 o'clock and seeing people walking outside, having a coffee, having a conversation. It's great. It's great.
Yeah, Paul.
Thank you, Marty. I'm very proud that I have voted on the budget 2-3 years in a row as I was on the council. And part of the budget, they fully funded our police department, our fire department, because as a councilor, we need to provide our law enforcement with the tools and resources to do their job. And I'm very proud of what our police department have done so far, especially this weekend. Have you seen that we have folk festival? We have thousands of people that were here, and law enforcement were part of this, that make people feel safe and to be here in downtown. In addition, we also thank our DPW staff and all the city staff that put this event together. Without proper funding, this would not happen. So some of the constituents may complain about the tax and increase and all that, but like everything else, if you want service, you have to pay for it. So I'm proud to support our city manager and our law enforcement.
I want to bring that up because it's something I've seen now since probably April, and I actually did call the city manager. And what a change it is downtown, and I want to congratulate Tom Gold and his staff and the chief of police and the police department and the officers. What a turnaround in downtown Lowell. Let's jump into something that's specific to the acre. I know I have it here. Well, let's start with ADUs. We're going to get into housing. The state, ADUs, now this started in February. ADUs under 900 square feet by right from the state. Lowell hasn't seen many. I think Councilor Noon has a motion in last week of how many ADUs there are. But the governor predicts 8,000 ADUs over a 5-year period statewide. Should the city see what it should be doing or what it can do in areas like the Acre, which is very congested? I don't know how many ADUs are underway. My understanding it's not many, but the governor's saying 8,000 over 5 years, and the Acre is pretty congested. We are going to start with Jose.
Well, as a counselor, Yem will tell you, it's very rare that I miss a meeting. And I believe that it was, the manager answered, and it was 5 permits have been called for ADUs. So that number, even though there's more talk about it than there is actual action being taken, it's a very small, and you got to think about it too. In order to, all right, great, I'm going to build an ADU. You need the money to put it up. So it's not something that we're going to snap our fingers and that's it, ADU. So is it more of a talking point right now? Because again, you need the money, you need the permits, you need to go to the proper channels. It's not like, oh, I said the word ADU, a house is going to appear magically in back of mind, so. But no, we definitely need to do something with the housing. At the end of the day, we keep bringing up a shortage of housing, but we don't really talk about how the rent increases it's crippling the community right now in the Acre, at least the part of where I am. We don't really bring much attention to that when we're talking about building. What's going to happen when all this market rate housing they're planning gets slapped into the Acre?
Okay.
So.
Thank you, Paul. ADUs, if they do come, if the governor's right, 8,000 over 5 years, how do you protect the integrity of the Acre, the quality of life for its citizens who are all over the building?
Well, I for one, for the record, I'm supporting the ADU, and simply because I want to keep the family together. My children, they went to college, and now they want to come back home. And if the law allowed, the city allowed, I would like to maybe turn my garage into an apartment, in the same lot with the same entrance, appear from outside like a single family. But my son will live there in a separate apartment in the garage, with their own apartment and bathroom and kitchen. So the other thing that I want to is for family, for emptiness. I know of a family of a lady who owned a home. Her kids are grown up. Her husband passed away. She has a huge home. She worked with one of the Cambodian women who went through a divorce, went through domestic violence, and she would like to bring them into the home. And she told me that she wished that we have the ADU, that she would apply and then turn that extra room in her house, the big house, into this ADU apartment with separate entrance, separate kitchen and bathroom to help this young lady who went through the domestic violence. I want to make it legal so that everybody who have an ADU or in-law apartment will have a safe place. They have to go through the process. The building department, the health department have to inspect. They have to pass everything. It's safe for the people who live there. If you don't have the ADU regulation, people live in the apartment unsafe anyway. So we want to make sure that ADU will help to reduce that risk of someone get hurt. Thank you.
Thanks, Paul. Sidney Liang.
Yes, sir. ADU. I do agree that we don't have a lot of people adding addition to their homes. But if you look at the Acre, the median income is a little bit above 40,000. So their living wage are not there to support additional structures to their home. Yet at the same time, there's a lot of people that are actually renting. There's more housing in the Acre area right now, and there's also very few home ownership. We want to increase some more so that people can own homes, and yet, let the family stay together and expand a little bit of more ADU into the system where people can actually know what ADU is and actually explain to them in their own language. Again, people are talking about ADU, but at the same time, Morata's right. There's not a lot of people that have money, and Jose is right too. Where again, acre is at the bottom of the list in most of everything, including median income. And when we're trying to do ADU, we'll get there. We'll get there. But how congested it's going to be. I don't think it's going to be as congested as it is right now, where we have a lot of buildings going up. But I do support ADU. But at the same time, right now, I understand that we are living in a district that has a lot of low-income residents, and ADU will catch up once we, improve more education, promotion, and many other things. But I do agree, it has to go by the rule and policy. Everything has to go by the book. And I think it's going to be okay. And I think ADU will be popular. I think it's just because the way the acre is.
I want to take a second. We're not having another question for 8 o'clock. I want to thank Colby Gray, who's doing the board tonight. I was remiss not saying it early. Colby's running the board tonight, and this special edition of Saturday Morning Live with Joe Espinola and Marty Lorrey. And Joe, thanks for being here tonight. And I keep on saying, Joe, take the question, please. No, you keep it. But I want to give a special shout out to Colby Gray. She's doing a great job on the board. We got about a minute left. 2 minutes. 1 minute. Red Sox, they make the playoffs. Jose, you led off last time. They make the playoffs this year.
From the little bit I've read, I mean, I don't have time to catch up on anything, Honestly, I couldn't even answer that. I wish I had the time.
Paul, what about the Sox?
Yes, they will make the playoff.
Sidney Liang, will they make the
I give
playoffs?
them 65%, just like ups and down, just like raining in the acre area.
Joe,
They're coming into that part of the year where everybody else is hitting the skids. So the Red Sox are going 50-50. They're going to be all right. I think they're going to make the playoffs. No
they're not
question
trading
at all.
people away. We'll be back, 980 WCAP, and thanks again, Colby.
Thank you.
Just sitting here between the commercials, having some fun and some laughs, and it's very light tonight. And again, we want to thank the candidates. 90-something degrees, 96, 95,
98 when they walked in.
98.
Yes.
And I want to thank them for coming tonight, Joe, and of course Colby. And let's see, I know I had some questions specifically for the ACO. Well, here we go, here's one. Downtown mixed use zoning ordinance. And this is downtown zoning. I don't know if you're familiar with it. 0 parking spaces per unit. You can put in 13, well, Favorite Street I think was 12 units, no parking. And this is the zoning for downtown. We started with Paul. Paul, what do you think of that zoning, that use?
There are cases, case by case, that we need to look at when we vote to the MBTA zoning. It's required by the state within a half-mile radius, and you have to have X amount of unit for family with children without required parking. This is to expand more of the family-oriented kind of apartment that you can just walk to the train station and move and go to work in Boston. But we also need to have to look at the neighbors, listen to the neighbor in tavern, the Hayes Tavern, and South Low, and they have a lot of this and with limited parking. And I agree with my colleague, my sister, Councilor Kim Scott, and for bringing this up, and she's not happy. And I think we need to examine its case by case basis. Thank you.
Okay, Sidney Liang.
Mixed use and parking is one of my topics that I have to deal with every single year. Probably one of the reasons why I'm running. It should be some kind of requirement connected with all the different units in terms of parking. The kid might be young right now, and in a couple of years they grow up and they get a car. Where do they park? I support, and I always going to discuss any kind of additional mixed-use parking spot with residents. I understand, I go through it on a yearly basis at the area where I live, where there's students living in there, and you get parking, and then someday you don't get parking, and then there's middle of the night, they block your, parking space and all that, and so, I need to looking into what are some of the ways we can reduce. Now, we need more housing, so, but at the same time, we need to actually looking into parking spots, because there is no way that you have a housing unit up there and there's no parking spot. That is a requirement, and it needs to, because that person is going to use somebody else's spot. That person is going to use somebody else who probably, handicapped or have kids that's coming late at night, going to work. So we need to make sure that it is part of the requirement, and we have to look through it. And again, if you're coming to the acre, I need to make sure discuss and have neighborhood meetings with our acre residents to make sure they agree to it. If not, I'm going to vote against it.
Thanks, Sidney.
Well,
Say.
and almost like what Paul said, I was thinking about this earlier. I'm not a MBTA zoning expert here, but at the same token, we've also seen what happens when we go up against the powers that be when it comes to the MBTA zoning. And I think Lowell has done a very good job keeping themselves out of the crosshairs of not just the state house, but the federal government. But at the same token, we should and will not be bullied into something that does not work for us. He brought up Heinz's. At the end of the day, that is not a good place to put, well, how many users was it? 30-something units with 13 spots? It was brought up in a meeting, so I'm not sure if that number is accurate, but that's not a good location for that. Not there. That's horrible. Most of the time, you can't even get through there at 3 o'clock. Now, in another spot, where a little less congested, a little less traffic, of course, it's perfect. But what are we doing to keep the, house the people that are here? Now, that's one of my biggest issues, and I know my time's almost up, that I'm having with a lot of this housing going up and all that in the acre is, what are we doing to protect the people that are already here? What are we doing to, like Sidney brought up, and I've been talking about, giving people that are here a path to home ownership that, as we all know, will create generational wealth, and we can get them off that subsidized housing hamster wheel. What are we doing about that? It's great to have people with disposable income and more tax, but let's help the people that are here. Sorry, that took too long, but
No,
trying to keep the time. I don't want
You're good.
to. You know me. I talk too
I'm
much. I'm not
watching the clock.
trying.
You're
I'm not
good.
trying to take the spotlight.
Well, Jose, you're doing good. I got a question. The city council over the years have sent letters in support of unions. More recently, Artie Demoulas just sent a letter to the Demoulas to help resolve this conflict. The people at the courthouse, the public defenders, are on strike. They're paid, I think, what was it, Joe? We talked about the show.
$51 an hour.
$51 an hour. And when you look at these people went to college, they have offices and so on, they're on strike. Would you support if the city council sent a letter to the governor, the state senate president, and the house to resolve this? Not only these people who are going to court have the right to an attorney, but they're letting them go, and the courthouse is at Lowell. If they don't have bus tickets on, they're staying at Lowell. And I just think it's unfair. Would that be something you would support on the council? Send a letter to the governor, state senator, and state senate president, and the house to please resolve this and bring this to an end. Sidney, you get the first shot here.
Yes, sir. I would. There's these backlogs of issues, cases, from the strike. It's going to get bigger, and it has to be resolved. It needs to be resolved, and a little support from the council, wouldn't hurt. We want to make sure, again, going through all of that, but I do agree, and I support that.
Thanks. Jose.
I am. If you see any of my palm cards or any of my signs, they tell the story. I am a supporter, avid supporter of unions, and at the end of the day, it's not easy work what they do. And yeah, absolutely. I mean, what is it? 100 cases as of Friday or something like that got thrown out because there was no public defenders there. At the end of the day, and not that it's okay. It's one thing to stop putting nails into a 2x4, and it's another thing where something like you said, somebody comes down here to go to court, they can barely afford to pay here. Now, where are they going to go? They're going to stay here. We need to think of the long term of it. And again, definitely, the income is 120,
No, it's $120 an hour.
and
for
they're
the
getting
attorneys in New
and they're
Hampshire.
getting 51 here.
Yeah.
So
Well, I
yes.
just got a text, they said it's 65 here.
Well,
65,
even then though,
65.
but still, I mean, technically we have more money here. We are a richer state than New Hampshire, so we should be able to pay somebody doing such public defender. That is very, very underlooked and very important job. We need to be able to do it. So yes, absolutely. I mean, I'd be sending out some texts on my phone myself if that was the case, if the council didn't want to, but again, I'm sure, Sidney's a member of the LTC, and I'm sure, he gets it. They just unionized, in 23? They hasn't gone through, but, unions are very important. We need to, John Burroughs, trying to push the 25% low people working here for the union. Things like that. So I'm definitely a proud supporter of the unions and what they bring to the table.
So you
Absolutely.
support the letter to the governor?
Oh,
and the-
yeah, without a doubt.
Paul Ratha Yem.
Yes, sir. Thank you for the question. Actually, it's a good reminder, and I will file the motion the next council meeting, August 12th, to send a letter to the governor and also urge our state delegation to do the same, to urge governor and the legal counsel at the state house to allocate more money so that low-income family will have legal representation without having to throw this, close the case and send it out. So it's unfortunate. So as you mentioned, as councillor, we have done numerous times sending letters for various issues that are near and dear to our city resident and in the city of Lowell. So again, thank you for the question, and you will see a motion to ask the council to send a letter to the State House and to the governor to set aside money to pay for more pro bono security, public defender security. Thank you.
Thanks, Paul. I get this from the Boston Herald. The Boston City Council commissioned a study for office vacancies. Even though downtown is turning to livable space, should Lowell do the same for open space and other commercial properties? And I'm asking this now. I'm thinking of Merrimack Street from City Hall out. I'm thinking of Market Street, a lot of storefronts. Broadway Street, you have a lot of businesses. Should the city, or as a city council, would you ask to commission a study for the office vacancies and how we can improve the rates?
That goes to me.
Jose, you get the first.
Yes, sir. Yeah, definitely, especially with, Hamilton Canal becoming, coming to fruition when we have so many things that are going to be popping up throughout the city. So it would be nice to see what we're working with when all these businesses and front run the city and everything starts coming in, so we can see what we have for available retail space, because whether it's retail offices we could turn into retail, commercial, whatever it is, but it would be, I think it'd be great to at least have an idea of what we have in our purview, especially with everything coming in, So yeah, no, I definitely love to see those numbers, just to see what we have on the backlog.
Thank you, Jose. Paul Ratha Yem.
I wanted to let you know that as councillor, we have given the mandate to the city manager to look at some vacant property, particularly on Merrimack Street. You have business on the first floor,
Right.
but the upstairs is vacant, and we want the manager and his team to push the property owner to do something while the city is struggling to have more housing production, and these people live on the second, third, fourth floor vacant. So the manager and his team had gone after property owner who just left it open, and in the meantime the city really need more housing, and that can be housing for a family who works downtown, and affordable housing. My past experience that I developed as a director of Cambodian American League, developed 60 Middlesex Street unit where the Garnish brother, Majestic Salon, Majestic Hair, we developed that building, the first ever in that area in 1990. So, and that converted the upstairs, the second and third floor into a 24 affordable housing. It's a working apartment for family who work downtown. They can afford to live up there. And the same thing here with the downtown Merrimack Street. The people who work in the hospitality, restaurant, and other, they can live upstairs and they come down. Similar to Chinatown. If you go to Boston Chinatown, the restaurant on the first floor, all the workers live upstairs. The same principle should be applied here. And the manager and his team have been very aggressive, go after this landlord to do something about it. Thank you.
Thanks, Paul. Sidney Liang, would you commission a study on improving the vacant storefronts?
I do agree, and it shouldn't be just for the acre. It should be citywide. The city manager should come up with a list of places that need to get studied, looking at what we just talked about, parking, looking at additional income that could be produced, and looking at the different barriers that it could potentially made into once you do that, because once a building and create it into a livable space, there's additional things that that might happen, and that's why a study is needed, and it should be looking at everything, no cut corners. Again, I do agree with that, but at the same time, it should, I like to see lists of different buildings that this could be happening, whether it is, I don't know, Centralville, whether it is Pawtucketville, Belvedere, anything else and everything else. Do a study, maybe, commission it and have it done at different neighborhood as well. And then I do agree, and it should be done.
Thank you. We're going to go back, maybe 20 years. Former city councilor, former mayor Bill Martin came up with an idea, 2 for Lowell. You would take properties and the owner would live there and rent out the other floors and probably try to help with finances somehow. Get a program together. I thought it was a great idea to stabilize neighborhoods. You live there, you rent, that's your neighborhood, not absentee. And this was Billy Martin's idea. And the other idea I thought that came along over the years was, and this is for the acre, you have the storefronts and maybe an apartment upstairs. Would you be willing to put in a motion to work with the DPD to get programs like that going, where someone could own the property, have their business on the first floor, live above it? Billy Martin's 2 for Lowell. They get the property and they could rent out, they have to stay there so many years. But you do it through the DPD, would you be willing to put these motions in to see if we could get these programs going, not only to help the families, but stabilize the neighborhoods? Paul Ratha Yem.
Thank you, Marty, for the questions. We have similar program that we help homeowners who want to convert it, and then this is also similar idea to the ADU and the in-law apartment. So, but for family who own a business and they live upstairs, there's a program in the city of Lowell and the DPD that will help the homeowner who do that, particularly when you own a business and there's an upstairs apartment, maybe not just 1 unit, 3 or 4 units, but then you can apply as part of the CPA, the Community Preservation
Right.
that fund. You can apply for that, but demonstrate that the apartment above your business will make affordable. And this way you receive a seed money to convert that. And then as a result, you can convert and make that into a permanent affordable housing for the people who work downtown, who work in the acre, who work on downstairs and your business. So we have that kind of program already, and we want to expand, throughout the city and downtown as well. Thank you.
Sidney Liang, what do you think of that, the 2-for-1? You get the building, you live there so long, you rent, the rent is more affordable, or the storefront, you have the storefront and then you stay upstairs.
Again, I agree, CPAs are gonna work. I used to sit on the CPA committee. It doesn't involve, basically single house or adding additional unit to it. Working with DPD, I work in the community for over 30 years. I like something program that you mentioned by Bill Martin, connected with CDBG, okay, working with DPD to offer more grants for the homeowner to that, get additional money and support, looking for grants, looking for funding to support that. I've been working with funding for over 20, 30 years, so I know if there are that venues available, community will come. They will go and then get this money and create it, you know, what it is supposed to be. Any kind of support right now is better. And it's a little bit better than, you know, having it toward like Section 8, you know, so this is your money and you're gonna get your money back and you can actually review that and you can boost that up based on what you need. So I do support DPD assistant in helping improve the resident, the owner, so that we can get more additional money. But at the same time, it's almost like an additional type of ADU, but with additional assistance from DPD, getting more grant, getting more funding, connected with CDBG and some other source of funding.
Okay, thank you. Jose?
Well, as far as I'm concerned, with the first-time homeowners program, it's something like that where they'll give you X amount towards the down payment. You buy the house, you can rent out, but you got to live there for X amount. I mean, it sounds great, but at the same token, it's kind of one of those things where protecting the integrity of the people of the acre. We have a lot of, you know that, sir. We've been pushing a lot on the council floor of a lot of this development being first floor commercial, and the rest, you know, maybe we'll sprinkle a little affordable but market rate. So what's to stop a developer from coming in here? You know, we'd have to really dive into it. So if you have $20 million in the bank, but we're going to give you some funding so that you can buy that nice new building where mom and pop shop got knocked down, and now you're getting, for in layman terms, subsidies to own this building, when you're just getting rich off the, you know what I mean? So we need to, yeah, it sounds great, but we need to make sure that, you know, and I'm not for big government and super regulations, but at the same token, who's benefiting from that, you know? Because we are doing that already. That was what Hamilton Canal, that was what Sal was supposed to give us, you know, 10,000 square feet of commercial and then affordable housing and all that, you know, so that's really the big push, especially with this front runner city. As far as I'm concerned, that was the big push, and you were there, sir, in Toronto, where they did that, commercial and then livable space. But we need to protect the integrity of the people that are already here. I'm more concerned about what's going to happen to all that subsidized housing once we really start developing the acre. You know, when Link and everything comes in, they're going to want to come out of that beautiful museum and see the projects there. You know, I'm more concerned about that, protecting that. But no, I love the program if we can get it to work to really benefit the people that need it, not to make the rich richer.
We have enough time for one more question. I've asked this in 2 prior debates. We've recently learned in the city that if an establishment serves food, minors can go in. And I believe it is called on-premise alcohol license. Should the city refer to the law department to amend the current ordinance? I don't think the city has the on-premise, but should the city council, the license commission actually controls this, but should the city council send something to the solicitors asking them to look at this, review the ordinance, and come back so you can define a bar and a restaurant? Sidney Liang, you have the first.
Can you give me an example that this occurred?
It just happened in Lowell. 2 of the bars downtown had minors, and the police cited them for having underage patrons.
Right.
And they found out they couldn't because they served food. So we looked at it as a conventional bar. And because of the way the ordinance is in the city, they can't take action. As long as there's food, they can have minors, just like the 99,
Right.
just like Applebee's. If it's a bar, it has food, it has minors. So should we relook at that ordinance, or have the law department look at it?
I mean, we can certainly look at it, but I would go against it. I mean, just the way it is, if you serve food and there's minor drinking, you just open a Pandora's box.
They can't drink,
Yeah, they
but they
can't
can
drink.
be inside.
Temptation, huh? I don't know. That's a really iffy one. I mean, I'm leaning toward not to changing, but I'm not disagreeing into looking into, what are some of the options or different ways of maybe control that kind of scenery or controlling that kind of services. But it just once you open that, it's you have a kid underage coming in, who knows?
Right?
And then sometimes you got illegal IDs going on, and sometimes they're already getting some liquors coming from someplace that's really already happened, and now they come and sit in your establishment, and their friend might be 21, and it's just a load of issues that might pop up, but a study doesn't hurt.
Downtown revitalization, I won't say the establishment, but I know that a couple Sundays already I've come down here on a Sunday afternoon, which I never would, and spent the afternoon at a quote-unquote bar. My kid walks in, she gets a bracelet, we had some delicious pizza, some delicious nachos, listen to some live music.
It
She
has
has the
food.
bracelet on there, it has
Yeah.
food. Any other time, I walk by and it's a bar.
Yeah.
But they serve food and really good pizza, by the way. And we hung out, and me and my daughter, just me and her, we came down here. It was a beautiful day. We sat out here on some of these, and we had the best time. We spent some money. I had a couple beers, and we walked away, had a couple beers. She sat there drinking her Shirley Temple with her little bracelet on, but it allows, obviously within, like Sidney said, you got to be careful, obviously, but just like anything else. I mean, a kid's going to sneak into a bar with a fake ID. It's up to the establishment to make sure we filter that out.
But if they serve food, not sneaking in.
No, and that's
Yeah.
but they get a bracelet at the door. They get ID'd at the door. They get a bracelet. You
Yeah.
coming in here, you're gonna get yourself a cheeseburger. You know what? That's more tax dollars that would not have been spent here. I mean, so
Paul, should we send something to the law department, at least look at it? And should we, about changing the ordinance, let them, but take a long look at it?
I agree with your assessment that I will ask the, file a motion to have the solicitor to take a look at that. There are two issues here. One is a restaurant, one is a bar. If you go to a restaurant to eat and all of that, and then it has to serve alcohol, a lot of burden of proof is for the establishment owner. Make sure that they are of age to drink and all that. That's a lot of responsibility, while you try to serve everyone and then try to card someone who 21 or not. But when they ask to buy a liquor, the bar or the server could ask for a license, to verify. And I understand that's a fake ID and all that. And the other is a bar. The bar, that they serve liquor. The food at the bar is just for someone who has something to drink and they want to eat something. So that would be an easy spot. So, but again, I will definitely support to look at the city, ordinance to see what we can do. On one hand, on the other, I just don't want to put too much of the burden on the business owner and hurt the business owner. And that's number two. Number three, I want to listen to my constituents. What do they think? Because some of these residents in my district, they frequent downtown. They go with their family, go with their kids and all that. See what they think of that. So if they think it's a good idea to kind of pursue and have the law department look at it, I'm all for it. I'm their voice, and they can reach me anytime.
Thank you. How much time are we looking at, Colby? 2 minutes.
can we give the Worthing a shameless shout out for what was it, #1 burger in America that they just had when he brought up food and all
Number
that?
one burger.
I'm pretty sure what was it? You were there. They were on TV and everything. The Worthing because
Worthing House.
yeah.
Yeah, they
So
did. They were on the Worthing House right now.
Yeah, that's,
I forget what show it is. I don't
Yeah,
see a lot of TV.
Yeah.
me neither, but they got recognized for like
They
their
have
little.
great food. They always have.
So I can't bring my kid there for a burger on a Sunday afternoon?
There were kids when we were there.
Yeah,
And
see?
with the kids when the people from Boston and then the people from California to do the food review, and they were there. And again, if the family would ask or the kids were there asked to buy a beer or some sort of liquor, the server have the right to check their ID. And of course, there will be some fake ID and they might slip by. And the responsibility it lies heavily on the establishment owner.
That's like the 99 Applebee's
Yeah,
that
yeah.
go in.
Yeah.
Yeah, I read
I
it
just
in
wanted
the
to shout
paper and
out
I
the,
said,
the
geez,
Worthing in the
they
district.
control it, but that's something you send to the law department. And you come back with that.
Agreed.
We ready to go, Kobe? We're gonna go to break. We'll be back on an extended edition of Saturday Morning Live. Joe Espinola, Marty Lorrey, and Kobe. This is District 7, the acre. And, geez, we've gone through a lot of questions again in this segment. Well, let's go. Who do we start with? And
I think I got the last
Okay.
one. Yeah, about the alcohol. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
so we go to
Paul.
Paul. Lowell has a $549.6 million budget, $21 million in free cash, $7 million in interest from its accounts. Most of the interest, I think, were from ARPA funds, and that's going to end. With $28 million in cash, will the taxpayers see some relief?
Thank you for the question. As you may know, that the federal at the federal level, there isn't, I feel that the city of Lowell will next fiscal year will experience some difficulty. So, in try to balance the budget without increase any more taxes. So my thought is that if we could set aside this money for the rainy day fund, particularly as a city, we need to have that rainy day and reserved, because our rate, the Moody rated cities in town based on the cash reserve and the balance sheet. So we are fortunate enough to have enough, fund in reserve so that our credit rating is up there. So it costs the city less to borrow for capital improvement and pay for the high school and all of that. So I feel this is very important to put the money back into reserve for the rainy day that the city eventually will face, as you can see what's coming down from the federal level. Thank you.
Thanks, Paul. Sydney, $549.6 million budget, $7 million in interest, $21 million in free cash. Would you give it back to the taxpayers, or?
I would try. I mean, the community needs some kind of relief. My home's raining. My house is raining. And my community and some of my residents are raining. The roof is leaking. We need some money right now. I mean, it's a fact of life. The economy is pretty bad and the community is suffering too. I would love to do no more taxes for at least, a year or two, if it's possible. I live in a community that suffer a lot. Community is really suffering right now. So I'm not into putting it away for any fund. If we have some money, the community should get some relief. Community should have some kind of joy, in their struggle with economic burden, economic, I guess, struggle that they have right now. Everything coming out from the city and coming from the government already increase. So it's time that we give something back to the community.
Thanks, Sydney. Jose?
I mean, that would be great, right? Everybody gets a nice chunk of change, but realistically, I mean, 2 meetings ago, the manager already said we got a 1.7 tax increase coming our way no matter what next year. So at the end of the day, I mean, hanging on to that money, I mean, if there's a way that we can, instead of giving people money, we can alleviate some of the pressure that people, especially in the acre, like Sidney pointed out earlier, I believe the median income was $39,400 and something dollars, especially in that particular area where I am now. If we can do something to, throw a couple bucks towards this, run a really big marketing campaign to get some of these kids into college so we can start creating the unicorn called generational wealth and get them out of this, again, subsidized housing that they're in and all that. But at the end of the day, you grab a few $1,000,000, you disperse them through, 12,000 people probably we have in the acre. What does that really equate to when we have 1.7 tax increase coming guaranteed no matter what else happens? I mean, we have to be practical too. If that money gets invested into something that's going to help the community, I'm all for it. But again, what's a couple $1,000s today to be on the same boat, if not worse, tomorrow? So
Thanks. Well, I find the acre one of the most enjoyable areas to
love that
walk.
place.
It's flat, it's nice.
Uh,
I like picking up the canal by Fletcher Street,
Yep.
the walkway up along is it Adams? Not
Wave
Adams
next time
Street.
you're over there. You're right in the neighborhood.
Suffolk Street.
Yeah.
Crossover, you can take it all the way to the Merrimack River.
Bring your appetite too, because we have everything over there.
And
You
it's all
name
good
it.
food. But here's the problem with the acre. It's very congested. You have the North Corning and the Cumanzelis Park, complex, I'm sorry, behind the Bartlett School, the Cumanzelis. There's very little green space.
Yep.
What can you do to protect what you have or try to expand? Sidney Liang, you're gonna get this first. What can we do to put more green space out there in the acre?
That's a tough question. I mean, I championed one of these complete street policy, and it looked into all the different mobility within the city, walk, bicycle, and whatnot. And we keep seeing these buildings coming at inside the acre, and if I'm the counselor, I will have to look at balancing that with the green space. Because right now, how am I going to do green space when there's no place for green space? We can't undo what has been done. Look at the Bartlett, not the Bartlett, Muckland School. They're fixing the baseball field, and green space is getting smaller. There's garden back there also. So you're looking at, there's no way that you can add green space into whatever's already been approved. We can do a little bit smaller park, but we can do also look at closely before we approve anything else building inside the acre. And I will also ask the resident to make sure, are your kid walking safely? Because they're walking in between buildings. We do have a little small green space in between the housings and stuff, but if you don't live there, where are your kid gonna go? Where's your kid gonna run and play? And we have this building coming up. Oh yeah, we'll put the parking lot underneath. That's not the parking lot. We need green space. We need trees. We need grass. The acre is running out. And what are we gonna do? I mean, I don't have no magic answers. What I'm saying is that stop doing, other stuff that's putting inside the acre and eliminate our green space that's already small enough already. So we have very, very small right now, and I like to preserve that. So before any kind of project coming into the acre, we need to balance that out. I'd like to work with DPD, and looking to make sure there's always green space for our kid, to make sure that there's a place for our children to play. At least walk on grass. How many of us walk on grass? We probably, haven't stepped foot in, on the grass for years, but we need to do that, and I thank you for bringing that up, and I want to make sure that our audience, keep fighting for green space and better place for our children.
I'm a good guy like that.
Thank you.
Jose, what about green space in the acre? How do you maintain it? Can you increase it?
A little thought came to mind, a little phrase. It's called, what is it, biting your nose to spite your face. So we keep calling for affordable housing. We need to do more building, and we need to give everybody affordable housing, but we want green space? I'm sorry, but in the acre right now, you can't have your cake and eat it too. I mean, and again, I keep hammering away at this. With all the, where do you think, realistic question here, and maybe they can, I'll say both of your names, because then maybe you guys can give me 30 seconds on that. When Front Runner City really starts hammering down, and really, which is going to be great, I'm not knocking it by any sense, but do you think that they're going to be looking to develop in Belvedere? Or in the Highlands? Where do you think they're coming? Let's be honest here. They're coming to us. I mean, if you want to talk about green space, how about I've lived in my apartment on the on the middle of Dublin Street for 15 years. You know what's the only upgrade done to that park right there? We got wood chips installed.
Yeah, I saw
And some
that
of
today.
some of the shrubbery torn out in a nice little, you know,
I
granite.
forgot about that.
You know,
Down
so
on Dublin Street,
everybody
yeah.
does. Trust me, as the Parks Department. You know, I mean, at the end of the day, we gotta start being able to look at things objectively, and you know, goes back to what I said earlier, the whole leadership thing. Not to stray too much, but the acre as we know it, and in a good way. But to who is going to be under attack?
Yeah. Paul Ratha Yem.
Um, the city have allocated over $9 million from the ARPA fund to improve all parks throughout the city. The acre, very fortunate, we have the North Common is being renovated right now to expand the ball field to make it a full playing baseball field along with the bathroom. And I voted to allocate extra money that we have from the state to have a functional bathroom, which we had, but didn't have enough money to refit it. But in addition, we also have concession stand over there. But if you go look at the Clemente, we known as Highland Park in the Cambodian community, you see it's under renovation. Phase 1, $1.75 million, renovate the whole thing. The bocce court had been done already. The rest of the field will be done in the next year. And that's phase 1. Phase 2 will be reconfigure that intersection, Middlesex Branch Street to make it more pedestrian safe and all of that. And there are a lot of pocket parks in the city that are being maintained by DPD staff. You know they are overworked because there's many small pocket parks. And if, for me, I have to file a motion to allow residents to adopt the park next to your home, you know, to allow them to adopt it, because when they owned it, now they can take care of it and they take pride in this ownership, so their children and all of that can play. You know, we have a number of pocket parks in the neighborhood, in the acre. As far as construction, affordable housing, we do not take land. We build on the building that exists now. For example, Suffolk Place. Suffolk Place is a convenience store owned by Cambodian family. So the developer who developed Acre Crossing purchased that. And now, instead of one level market, now you raise up to 3-4 level. And then the requirement by the zoning and the zoning is that they require the contractors and developer to have tree, create more tree, because the acre, as you state over and over, very congested, and all the building is concrete and everything, so it creates this urban heat island for all the neighborhood in the acre. So we would like to see more of tree planting in the acre, but also maybe some vine that climb the building to reduce the heat island in the acre.
Thanks, Paul.
Can I have 2 sentences? 1.7 million.
Good.
We have
Answer-
better slides.
No, your answer's your answer. You
Oh,
can't.
it was to what he said,
No,
not
it
about that.
doesn't- No, we don't
Yeah,
do
no,
that.
no.
I
That's
don't
why I asked.
follow up on
No,
it.
that's why I asked. Absolutely.
No, it's,
Yep.
and you're not, they're not allowed to follow up on yours.
Yep.
It's 8:45. I think there was a couple of questions I wanted to get to tonight, but we spent a lot of time on zoning and open space in the acre, actually livable questions on, and so I'm happy with the way that went, because that's what the acre is, apartments, it's livable spaces, it's commercial spaces. So I'm glad we were able to spend maybe a few more questions on that. We're gonna go to the 2-minute, and I'm not gonna keep you to 2 minutes, try to go to 2.5, but we're gonna do the closing statements now, and don't forget to ask for their vote. Jose, you're gonna go first.
All
2
right.
minutes.
Yes, sir. So, like everybody knows, I'm Jose Cervantes, and I am hoping to come September 9th and November 4th, you guys get out there and get your voices heard, so that, you know, we can start tackling some of the issues that are really important to you. And not just that, I feel that we, like I stated already here, we have a lot coming into the district A lot of these awesome things that everybody keeps talking about that are coming to the city, realistically speaking, they are coming to the acre. We need to have a strong voice in there that is willing to stand up and advocate for you, that is willing to go, that if it benefits you and it doesn't benefit them, or they have to go against the norm, they will vote no, because it is to represent you. It is to protect the integrity of the acre, to protect what we already have. As much as we are not afraid of change, we are not afraid of progress. But all I keep thinking about is the people that are here. And I want to be your voice. I want to be your next city councilor. Get out there and vote September 9th. Get out there and vote November 4th. I can't stress that enough. Get out there and vote, please.
Thank you, Jose. Paul Ratha Yem.
Thank you. I want to thank WCAP and Marty, Joe for hosting this. Again, thank you and good evening, everyone. It's been an honor for me to serve you as the Vice Mayor and the City Councilor representing the District 7, including the Acre. And tonight I want to leave you with this. My commitment to the people of Lowell, especially to the Acre, has always been without building it has always been about building a city that works for everyone. I know we have more work to do. However, we must tackle poverty, homelessness, and rising housing costs with urgency. But I believe that we have the tool and the commitment and the spirit to meet these challenges heads on. Progress should be shared by all of us. Long-time resident, new family, small businesses, and the next generation. I work alongside my colleagues on the council. Even then, even sometimes we disagree, but because I believe in collaboration over division. Good leadership, because good leadership means listen to all voices, seeking common ground, and staying focused on what truly matters to the people of Lowell. I've been proud to support our city manager, city department, including law enforcement, and also other staff who work tirelessly with dignity, professionalism. Lowell is a city of strength, diversity, and heart. A city where people show up for each other, where challenges are met with courage, and where future is shaped by the choice we make today. As your counselor, I will continue to work to be the voice of unity, equity, and progress. I have working for Lowell as a city where everyone, no matter of your background, can find opportunity, dignity, and a place to call home. On Tuesday, September 9, I respectfully ask for you vote to continue to work together and keep listening to you, to fight for you, deliver the result for District 7 and for the city of Lowell. Thank you so much. Let's move the city forward 1 acre at a time. Thank you.
Thank you, Paul. Sidney Liang.
Thank you. Thank you, Jose. Thank you, Marta. Thank you, Marty. Thank you, Joe. And thank you, Kobe. And thank you to the listener who's spending a little short time with us discussing the issues of the city. In the Acre, we have so much to be proud of. City Hall, UMass Crossing, UMass South Campus, and those wonderful students, the library, Market Basket, Textile, and Kerouac Museum, and other special spots that highlight the city of Lowell. So why are we facing life short expectancy, poor health, and less access to technology? Imagine a frigid day in slippery Acre, Lowell, or Highland. You want to go out, but the snow plow haven't yet cleared your neighborhood. Or when you open the door, your kid asks, "Can you check my car to see the damages by the potholes?" You post stuff on social media. Some counselor said, "Have you registered your issues with the city website?" Well, for those who have registered problems on the website, you can understand the frustration. Over time, it becomes exhausting. Everyone deserves to feel safe in their street, neighborhoods, and within the city limit while they live, work, play, and learn. Government services and decision-making processes should reflect the diversity of the community and its neighborhoods. We aim to attract investors and support companies, organizations that hire people locally, and not just workers, management as well. We will ensure investment in multicultural, multilingual health programs through strong multi-sector collaboration. The city's spendings and budgeting must align with the daily life of our residents. Our campaign's mission is simple: to create a fair, stronger city where all residents can share the challenges and opportunity leading to more sustainable economic growth. We envision a community where our citizens live longer, healthier, and more inclusive life. My name is Sidney Liang, and I hope you can vote for me and give me a chance to work with you. Thank you for listening. As a community health worker and community advocate for over 30 years, please know this: I will go to you, work with you, your families, and all the local, states, and different partners to ensure our city and neighborhood improve the quality of life for your children and mine. I ask for your trust, your vote, and your help on September 9th. Please vote for me. My name is Sidney Liang. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks, everyone. It was a great debate. I got a question.
Yes,
Do you
sir.
guys have any debates coming up that you want to advertise while we're here? Any neighborhood debates or?
Not that I know of, but the TED has inside law scheduled for August 27th or something.
August, okay.
Yeah.
So that's your next
I know
debate.
there's a CBA once, someplace, sometime
Well,
in
it's-
August, right?
We're having it's called candidating in August.
Oh.
So we're just gonna sit down and people are gonna come in from the community. So please,
Like a dating game kind of thing.
just
huh?
get out there. We'll be at the senior center. I'll post it on my Facebook page. Come out, spend some time with the three of us. Ask whatever you want. Then let's go. It'll be a good time. I'm gonna start posting it probably tomorrow. I don't wanna keep hemorrhaging you guys with all these events, but I'll start posting it tomorrow. Come out. It'll be a great time.
Well, Joe and I and the station wish everyone the best of luck, and thanks for being here tonight.
Thank you, sir.
Thank
We're
you
gonna
guys.
be wrapping this up. Kobe, what, do you got about 7 minutes left? Joe, what did you think?
I thought it was really good. The candidates definitely have a mindset. I didn't see much of continuity outside of their own ideas. Most have the aggression of having acre be number one in working towards the problems. They seem to have a consensus about the issues that are going on in the acre, but different ways to go about doing things. I thought it was, it definitely gives each person out there a chance to vote according to what they believe is gonna work in different ideas. So it's not like you're getting flooded with 3 people that are all saying the same thing. I think you guys have the same mission with different ideas of how to get there, and it was really, it was enjoyable to listen to you guys talk about that. I grew up in back Central Street, but I spent a lot of time in the acre. That's back when Lowell was a walkable city, but it had to be because no one had cars. So it was, I enjoy the acre and I enjoy the progress, but I think you guys really hit it on the head that, how much can one neighborhood take with the sharing of the growing of the city. And I had mentioned that to the people that were here earlier from Belvedere. I said, well, I come from back Central Street. I think that they should take some of those houses and bring them to Belvedere. We got 95 acres of green space.
Yes,
Then let's share the wealth.
There you go.
Yeah.
I know it's not popular, but you go to big cities and towns like this. This is what you have. You you have Belvedere, you have.
Are you running, Luke?
No, but it's something that people have to think about, you know, I can be neutral because I'm not running for anything. If I was from Belvedere, I'd want the green space. If I was running in the acre, I'd want no more housing. So everybody has their ins and their outs, but, you know, if you look at it in a practical matter, let's share the wealth,
Yeah.
and that's what it should be. But there are some things like acre. There's no more green space. You can't, like, how do you do that? How do you reinvent it? I go back to it all the time. I mean, as silly as it may sound, or maybe it'll happen, whatever. But Kim Scott brought up the floating sidewalks. Who saw it? And Paul Ratha Yem. Who thought of that? Someone did it somewhere. Someone brought that. So how do we get green space into the acre? Maybe there's floating green spaces out there. Who knows? It's out there. We need to go find it and bring it to.
One thing I always thought, Joe, on the council, the city sells property, they sell, what do they call, the tax lien properties. And I always thought, one, they shouldn't sell them. They should offer them to people who live in the city to give them a chance at home ownership.
Wasn't that Billy Bond's program, the yard sale program? Remember the yard sale?
Yeah.
It was the
And the
yard
other
sale
thing,
thing.
why sell all the properties? If you can knock down a tenement or two tenements side by side, and you see them in Boston and larger cities, there's your green space. You take that out, you have places for people to sit. They're passive, but it gives people a place to go. I'll tell you what, you put some hot top down, or you put down some cement, and put a bocce court in, if there's just enough dirt.
I love bocce.
I put in a bocce court.
I love
on the
bocce.
council.
Bocce's
I
awesome.
didn't know it was a big Asian game with the Cambodians. They put it over, it was a Clemente Park. That's where it went. I thought it was going to the North Common.
No.
But a little park like that, and you see them in the north end, you have seats, and you can have bocce courts, maybe a small basketball court like Fayette Street. You know, there's some of your space, and Joe and I grew up in Back Central, and I think that's where our minds come from.
Yeah.
Kobe,
Well, you reinvent the acre. You're
Well-
gonna have to.
Well, it goes back to what I said earlier, where it gives people some sense of pride, where it's like, we're gonna go out there, we're gonna play bocce, which I love playing bocce, but, you know, I wanted to bring this up earlier. How much is it that we need housing if we're just trying to bring people in, and how much is it that we just actually need to control how much people are paying for housing, which I know it's not something that is brought up to the city council. That's more of a state legislation thing, but I mean,
Jose, we got a minute, and we have to close this show out. I want to thank everyone. Again, prayers for Bobby Hoey. He's made some improvements, but he's not out of the woods. He needs a lot of prayers. And, God bless Bobby. Kobe, thanks so much. Joe, thanks so much tonight.
guys.
Thank you.
Did a great job.
Thank you to the
and,
audience.